Oh, that is not good, dudes.
Well, you asked for it, and here we are, finally getting around to it. Okay, you see, this is a relatively small channel, so we don't get that many requests for reviews. And trust us, we don't ignore any of the requests we do receive. It just might take us a while to get around to them, just like today's review. You see, for the past few years, we've had an ongoing theme with our Valentine's Day reviews. In 2019, we tackled the subject of yanderes without Foster's Home Review. In 2020, we talked about tsunderes with an episode of Hey Arnold. It's important to look back at our 2019 review, as that video is what gave birth to this one. You see, I made a little quote in that review stating that Western cartoons didn't have very many yandere type characters in them. And if you don't know what a yandere character is, then check out that review to catch up here in the top right corner. The lovely commenters on that video informed me that there was one specific yandere type character in Western cartoons that I was overlooking. Today's review will be entirely dedicated to that specific character. Before we begin though, I should make this clear. The main reason we put off this review for so long is because it's not how I wanted to initially talk about Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls is a show I love a lot, and there's just so much for me to talk about, or in other words, praise it. I couldn't possibly restrict my thoughts on the show into just one specific episode, and today's episode, while good, couldn't possibly express everything this show did so right. So, I just want to clarify that this review won't be our official Gravity Falls review. I don't know when we'll be covering the show itself, maybe not for a while, who knows. But I felt we should finally address one of our fan-requested episodes. So keep that in mind as we go into today's episode. Without further ado, let's get started. This is Gravity Falls, Soos and the Real Girl. Our episode stars the ever-lovable Soos, a caretaker of a novelty shop who's as kind and loving as he is socially awkward and weird. He finds out that his cousin is being married soon, and he feels obligated to find a date to bring. So you can probably guess where this is going.
Your face is good. I'm a Soos.
Yeah, the beginning of this episode seems real predictable, with Soos going around trying to flirt with every girl he can find.
Ever since he hired me, I just really wanted him inside my butthole. Like, I want him just to grab his fist, open up my butthole, and just...
Things soon take an unexpected turn when Soos hides out in a discount game store. There he finds an abandoned game, a dating sim that forewarns its owner to destroy the disc at all costs. Given the track record of foreboding games given away at yard sales, I'm sure it'll be fine.
It's almost like you're actually alive.
Yes, almost.
So yeah, this episode takes your standard dating plot and matches it with creepypasta. For those unaware, a creepypasta is an internet-originated urban legend. They come in a variety of topics, but one of its more popular topics involves video games. Some of the more popular video game related creepypastas are Sonic.exe and Binge Round, a personal favorite of mine. Though dating sim creepypastas couldn't reach real popularity until the game Doki Literature Club was released, which this episode predates by a few years. So this episode already hits a home run with its premise alone. But what sells this episode even more is how the game ties into its moral of this episode. So, Soos spends the entire night playing the game, preparing himself to once again try to find a date the next day. However, he finds it an even harder task than what he had previously tried. Everything seems so complicated, and he feared what would happen if he tried talking to a woman.
Oh no! Undo! Undo!
You can't undo who you are.
As a socially awkward person myself, this episode definitely speaks to me, and I like the topic they decided to bring up here. The expectations between the world of fantasy and reality is a real danger to those who already have trouble socializing with others. It's easy to get lost in these games as you don't have to fear rejection or judgment from others. In turn, they can inadvertently cause you to avoid people as much as possible, finding only comfort in yourself and the safety blanket that is video games. While being antisocial really isn't that bad, it's not good for those who do seek love and companionship. There are people who feel like the world's rejected them when they themselves never open themselves up to be judged. They fear the rejection and assume the worst before they can even be given a chance. It's really sad to see others view themselves this way, and even worse when they despise the world over their own lack of confidence. All of these points the episode will soon bring up. As Soos fears interaction with the outside world, he sees that Giffany somehow followed him all the way to the mall. As it turns out, she is from a game that had an unexplained anomaly. She deleted the original programmers who turned on her, and every owner who's tried to get rid of her. Surely, things will be different this time around. Unless Soos meets a girl who finds his goofy nature charming, the timing could not be any worse, as now he has to break everything off with this psychotic video game sprite. At that moment, Soos reclaims his self-confidence and risks everything on one date with Melody. A date at the family-friendly Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. On top of this episode featuring a creepypasta, we also have killer animatronics come to life. As you can no doubt gather, Giffany follows Soos to his date and uses the animatronics to try and kill his new love interest. As for Soos, she plans to download his consciousness into the game.
Think about it. Real girls are unpredictable. They judge you.
After giving quite the convincing speech, of course, even though knowing that his one chance at love is doomed, he still chooses to risk the pain of rejection. He sets Giffany's game ablaze, destroying her for good. Soos explains himself to Melody, who wants to give him another chance, and the episode ends with Soos coming out of this whole situation stronger than before. And that was Gravity Falls, Soos, and the Real Girl. Without a doubt, one of my favorite Gravity Falls episodes, and for good reason. This episode handled the creepypasta elements perfectly, with a ton of fantastic gaming references, and even some good weeb jokes that probably flew over most people's heads.
But I'm about to meet her parents. Her dad is an octopus man.
The topic and moral of this episode were handled about as best as you could handle them, perfectly showing how one could become isolated from society, and even showing the risk of rejection is well worth the reward. You also got that natural Gravity Falls humor, which made just about every joke a knockout. All in all, this was a fantastic episode, and was definitely worth reviewing for the month of love. I didn't even get around to mentioning the B-plot of this episode, where Grunkle Stan has a heartfelt breakup with his coin-operated machine and tries finding a replacement, only to realize old Goldie was all he ever needed, and they get married in Vegas. As I said, perfect for the month of love. Anyways, that's all for this review. If you'd like to help support the content we make, then be sure to subscribe, as every little bit helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. You should go look up Gravity Falls Rule 34. You're gonna find a lot of